Hi viewers, welcome to the AI People for yet another exciting episode. We are at RSA, the biggest technology conference around cybersecurity, and I'm excited to share a new series around AI and security. I'm here today with an expert in cybersecurity, part of Checkmarx, and I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Hi Vivek, thank you for having me. Excited to talk to you about Checkmarx agentic application security platform and how we help secure the entire AI supply chain for enterprise clients.
All right, we just came to a quiet space here to further continue the conversation. Eran, why don't you talk more about Checkmarx and what you guys do in the cybersecurity AI space?
Sure, Vivek. So Checkmarx is an agentic application security platform, actually the leader in application security testing, named by both Gartner, Forrester, and IDC. We've been in the space for nearly 20 years, but obviously since last year we have focused mostly on AI security. In light of vibe coding, AI, and agents that are growing, and actually a new whole threat and attack surface that we are experiencing. So we are 100% focused on agentic application security, securing the entire AI supply chain, and helping our enterprise customers build fast and secure.
Eran, as the VP for product marketing at Checkmarx, you must be observing some of the key trends that are currently, impacting your customers, as well as how the market is, shaking out. So, can you maybe talk about some of those trends, and especially at RSA, what do you think attendees will get out of this conference?
Sure. I'll start with some of the trends. So obviously everyone talks about AI, but before we just talk about AI, let's understand that it's the entire tools and landscape, sorry, that is changing. If up until, let's say, less than 1 year ago, software was built with traditional environments, IDEs like VS Code, JetBrains, Microsoft Visual Studio, and stuff like that. Today, the majority of software is being built by AI IDEs, Cursor, Windsurf, AWS Kiro, and stuff like that. So even the way or where the software is being built has shifted towards AI environments. Okay, so that's one thing that we are seeing, and the trend is that any non-AI IDE is kind of fading away and losing its relevance because developers today are chasing environments that can help them scale and build much faster. So that's one thing. Second, and this is kind of, in my mind, a bit of misunderstanding, or I don't even know how to call it, or misconception about AI and trust. And the trend today that we are seeing is that people believe that code that's being built by developers and AI tools is secure by design. And that's a wrong statement, because the majority of the code that's being built by AI originates in open source. So therefore, you actually need to think outside of the box. You need to think, how do you secure code that was built by insecure AI agents? Okay, and I think what we are seeing this year at RSA, I think each and every booth, each and every conversation involves AI security. How do you secure agents? How do you secure LLMs? How do you secure your entire AI supply chain from the coding phase up until production and deployment to the cloud? So, and I was here last year as well. You probably started hearing AI. 2026, it's all about AI and AI security.
Got it. And since you specifically specialize in application-related security and threat vectors, specifically targeting application, I think the attack surface is even higher when it comes to applications. And developers, they do want to work on cool stuff. Whenever a big moment like OpenClaw happens, they want to latch onto it and do what they do best, which is innovate. But this is obviously increasing a lot of risks, introduces new security exposures for companies. So can you maybe talk more about the application layer, what kind of vulnerabilities that you think are new as a consequence of agentic AI, and how you as an organization, you are better positioned to bring security and protection to your customers?
That's a great question, Vivek. And before we just address kind of the new attack vectors, we also need to understand that the old security isn't going away, because think about it. If you're an enterprise bank, financial organization, healthcare, you name it, these guys have built thousands of applications. Okay, these applications are live in production and are based on traditional software supply chain, traditional code that was built by humans. Okay, this code still needs to be secured in the old fashion. But any new project, any new application today is obviously built 50% or 16%, depending on the language, right? Built by AI. So for that, you need the plus one. You need the old school security plus the new one that's kind of a hybrid approach of AI security and software supply chain security. So that's just to set the stage. You need both. But what I think we need to understand, and this is what Checkmarx kind of introduces, is that we are now in an ADLC. If up until 2025, we're talking about software development lifecycle, 2026 and beyond, we're talking about ADLC, agentic development lifecycle. And in the agentic development lifecycle, you have 4 control points that you need to secure. One of them is the supply chain, but let's start left. Left is where the AI coding happens, whether it's in the IDE or through an AI agent UI, it doesn't matter. You need to secure at the source, okay? Because when you vibe code, you create code 10 times, 20 times faster than human is generating code. That's why you need AI agents that can secure the code that's being generated by AI. But that's just one control point. The second control point is in the pull request in GitHub in the build phase, because there is code that also comes from the pipeline, comes from other areas, not just that you just generated. The build actually encapsulates much more source code. So for that, you need the post-build agentic security, and that's where, with Checkmarx, we build triage and remediation agents that kind of sits on top of the pull request and understands what is attackable, exploitable, and we can identify and fix at the build phase. This is the second, right? The third one is the entire AI supply chain. The AI supply chain is consisting of LLMs, MCP servers, AI SDKs, right? And these are things that can be exploited through LLM poisoning, model takeovers, prompt injection. These all are very new, if you like, methods of security attacks. And I didn't even start talking about offensive agents, okay? You're using agents to actually secure, but there are agents that are being built by malicious and bad actors that come to actually mess with your software. And these offensive agents also needs to be secured. So how do you do that? You have an AI supply chain that actually generates a global inventory. The global inventory includes the list of everything that your engineering group is using. As I mentioned, LLMs, agents, MCPs, you name it, giving you, whether you are the CISO, the AppSec leader, the AI engineering architect, okay, it gives you the pane of glass, the visibility into everything that you are using within your organization, so you can actually put some guardrails, you can put some policies in place, so you can govern everything that goes on in your engineering group. And last but not least, and that's the fourth, that's the runtime protection. Things can always slip into production. That's where you need the runtime protection, what we call DUST or DUST for AI. And this with context actually can protect anything that you may have missed during the coding, build, and supply chain up until it's deployed. So it's very complicated, but this is the world we are living right now. You need the old, you need the deterministic AI agent security across the entire AI supply chain.
Got it. Thank you so much, Eran, for laying that out. That makes it easier for anyone to understand what exactly the landscape looks like today and where they should be focusing on. Maybe they should do an assessment on the security profile across all these 4 stages as part of the agent development lifecycle, and then figure out where exactly they need to invest more time and energy in the short run, long run.
Yeah.
I also want to better understand about Checkmarx and the unique value that you bring to customers. I know at RSA you have so many security vendors, but what is your differentiation, secret sauce, and why are clients trusting you to deliver on some of the mission critical capabilities that they need to run an agent-aware, secure organization?
So, Vivek, that's a great question. You are actually visiting the expo. You've seen over, I think, 600 vendors, and when you're trying to differentiate and understand, for example, how Checkmarx differs from all the other vendors. So, putting aside that Checkmarx is the announced market leader in application security testing, ASPM, application security posture management, and static application security testing since end of from the end of 2025. So that's kind of what the analyst and the market is telling the community, that Checkmarx is the market leader. But we are the market leader not because the analysts are saying, we are the market leader because we've been in the space for nearly 20 years. We have a dedicated Checkmarx Zero, which is the research branch within Checkmarx. The entire daily job is to chase vulnerabilities, malicious packages, vulnerable agents, LLM poisoning, and actually bring innovation to the community, not just selling, but actually produce open source projects that the community is using to actually secure the entire pipeline. So we are at the forefront of the application security, agentic and traditional. We have been serving our customers, nearly 2,000 customers, enterprise customers, with our Checkmarx One platform, which in our mind is the most comprehensive platform for application security, from code security to software supply chain security, AI supply chain security, and runtime protection, from code to cloud basically. So we have all the comprehensive engines, security engines that can scan SAST, dust, malicious packages, secrets, infrastructure as code, AI security, AI supply chain security. We have the developer agent in the IDE. We have the triage and remediation agent in the pull request. We have the runtime protection at runtime. We actually integrate to almost any technology that you have out there through IDE extensions, partnering with Harness and other CI/CD platforms. So no matter which technology you are using today, and no matter which size you have in your organization, we can secure you. We are securing or scanning nearly 3 trillion lines of code each month. Okay, I think that's unprecedented. I don't know how many other vendors here at RSA can say that they're scanning 1 trillion lines of code each month, and that's, by the way, also strengthen our ability to secure new and modern infrastructure as code and other AI tools.
Okay. Thank you. And what do you want your customers and prospects attending RSA conference and speaking to Checkmarx get away when they go back 2 days from now?
So I think the most important thing is that, and as I mentioned earlier, the theme at RSA is AI security and how you can secure the AI supply chain. So if they can take one thing away from RSA, is to understand that there is a huge, significant market transformation, the shift from SDLC to ADLC that I mentioned earlier. They need to understand that they need to kind of change their mindset and understand that what used to be the security that they were building on needs to be much more hybrid. They need to enhance their security processes that includes AI security, security for AI, as well as the software supply chain, and they need to bake the security guardrails early in the vibe coding process, which means the developers needs to step up. The developers need to take responsibility because they are the ones basically that are bringing all the LLM models, the AI coding assistants, and all the AI tools into the business, into the software pipeline. So they're in charge for security as well. And if you miss on that, and you trust the AppSec leaders and the CISOs to clean up afterwards, it's too late, because the AI scaling and speed is way too big for a human to handle. They need AI to secure their code from the initiation, and that's a huge mind shift that they need to get used to.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. It seems like Checkmarx is really helping your company enable your developers to vibe responsibly, and that's really important. And thank you so much, Eran, for taking the time to be with the AI people to share some of your insights. And I wish Checkmarx good luck with RSA conference and beyond.
Thank you so much, Vivek. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.